I'm a huge fan of products that are neutral toned and can go from day to night because they have so many uses. Hey everybody, today I'm going to be doing a review and 2 tutorials in one video with products from the brand Absolute New York. I received this package from them and it contained so many great products that you can use for everyday makeup, everyday wear, taking them from day to night, everyday no makeup looks, and even glam looks like this. So there's a lot you can do. I want to show you guys all the products that I got, how to use them, different looks you can create with them, and of course some swatches and a full review. So let's start with the review before we go into the tutorial so you know all the products, you're familiar with them before I start using them on my face. The first product I want to show you guys is the Strobing and Shading Highlight and Contour Kit. Now these are really popular, especially with brands like Anastasia Beverly Hills. Even NYX has come out with them. Now Absolute New York tends to be a more affordable brand. This palette right here is $14.99. You receive 6 shades to sculpt, highlight, strobe, etc. Now the top row, when you first open it up, you will see that you have your highlight shade here. Now this is going to give you your illuminated look, like as you see here when the light looks like it's where it looks like I have a shiny bit of light on my face. That's what this one is right here. This is going to give you your illumination. These 2 shades up here, these are your highlight shades, and I like that they included one that is a yellow based and also one that is a peach base. So whether you're warm toned or cool toned, you have a shade here that's going to work for you. Now this palette is for light to medium, so if you're a little bit darker skin tone, there is another one that's a little bit darker. You might want to check that one out. As for the bottom, we have a few different shades here. Now to some people this may look like, oh well, they're all just the same shade. Yes and no. When you apply these to your skin, I suggest you do a little bit at first to see which one works with your undertones, because otherwise you can get a contour that looks a little bit ghastly or just doesn't match with your skin tone. For me personally, I like these 2 shades just because they complement my skin tone. I'm a little bit light to medium, so it falls right in place. This shade here is a little bit cool toned, so when I apply it for a no makeup everyday kind of look, it gives me a very soft sculpted look. It gives me just a little bit of a slimming, but not too much, not overdone. Now if I want to do just a little bit more drama like I have going on in this look right here, I go for the second shade, which is Toffee. So I go for Toffee. By the way, these have names, I forgot to mention them. The first shade is Iced, then we have Banana. This yellow shade is always called Banana. No matter what brand it's from, it's always a banana. Do you notice that? It's always banana. If it's yellow toned, it's banana. This shade here is Rose. Then we have Belize, which is this first one here. Then we have Toffee, and then Sahara. So these Toffee, so Belize and Toffee are the 2 shades I feel work for me. This shade here at the very end was a little bit too orange for my skin tone, so I would suggest approaching this last skin tone if you're on more of the medium end of the spectrum. If you're light medium or even light, stick to these 2, even mix them together. That's what I did. I mixed the Toffee and Belize together to create just a little bit of drama here, but I feel like anything darker like Sahara here would have been too much. So you have a little bit of experimentation, you can mix them, you can wear them on their own. Same with the highlights and the illuminator. Well, the illuminator, I feel like even though it's a little bit icy, meaning it's a little bit more white toned, it's still gonna work for people it's still gonna work even into those medium skin tone shades. Now here are some quick swatches of the Strobing and Shading palette. Now I have 2 brow products, and one of the brow products is going to give you a natural filled in look, while the other one is going to give you that precision, sharp brow that is just the envy of Instagram. So the two products are the Perfect Fill-In Brow Powder and also the Super Slim brow pencil. Now I'm going to be showing how these work because swatching them up by my hand or my arm doesn't really do them justice, but you'll see in the tutorial how I use them. You'll see in the tutorial exactly how I use them, and even though I have thicker brows, you can still find use for products like this because it'll give your brows just a more polished look. So overall I felt these two products gave my brows a more polished look. My only complaint is that the Super Slim pencil, even though it was like a click up, you don't need to sharpen it or anything, I found the pencil part could have been a little bit softer because I did find it breaking as I was trying to use it. So a little bit softer would have gone a long way. However, it wasn't so terrible that like it broke every second that I used it. It was just, I noticed that I really had to be careful with how much I clicked out. The Super Slim Brow Pencil is $6.99, whereas the brow powder is $8.99, so still very affordable in range. As for the eyes, I do have the Artiste palette, and this is the Art of Nude, and this is a very versatile palette. There are a lot of shades in this palette that run from very light, everyday kind of shades to darker, smokier shades, but I don't feel like they overdid it at all. Now I have swatched this up for you guys. Before I show you all the swatches, I did want to make some notes that I did like the gradation in that there are a few different tones within this palette. If you look at the first three shades, you'll notice it instantly. You have your light kind of creamy shade, then they get warmer, then you have a few cool tones right here, then it gets warmer again, and then cooler. So you have a nice back and forth. So whether you're looking for a cool tone nude palette or a warm tone nude palette, you kind of have a little bit of everything in this palette. There are different formulas in here, so you have a little bit of shimmer, you have a little bit of matte, you have a little bit of satin, you have some options in here. So here I am swatching it up. The last product that I'm going to be showing you guys is I have some matte lipstick. These are the matte sticks. These are $5.99, so these are on par with, say, Wet n Wild in terms of brand, in terms of price. I have three very beautiful shades. All three are in the nude family. Now the first one is Nude Pink, and this shade is a bit light for my skin tone, but I loved how creamy and opaque the shade went on. It was true matte, but it was still very comfortable and not too drying on the lips. It didn't feather, it didn't bleed, and it certainly didn't settle into fine lines of the lips. Some lighter shades are notorious for having problems, but this one was just absolutely a pleasure to work with. In the middle nude shade, we have Latte, and this shade is perfect for if you want to go a little bit deeper, or even if you just want to mix this into the first shade. If the first shade was just a little bit too light for you, mix this in with it and you can get a more wearable nude shade to suit you. But on its own, I felt like it was a very pretty shade. I felt like it was a very pretty shade that would suit people that were light to medium skin tone, and even medium to darker skin tone. The last shade is called Sangria, and this is a red base brown, and I feel like this would suit all skin tones. Those of you who are looking for a nude lipstick specifically might be in the darker range of skin tones. This may work best for you as a darker lipstick, though the red tones in it may prevent you from choosing it as such. I do feel like this shade would be flattering on all skin tones, even if it wasn't used as a nude. So now I'm going to walk you guys through two tutorials. One is an everyday look, and the next is this glam look right here. My first look, I did an everyday sort of a little bit of makeup look. So this isn't a completely no makeup look. And I started with the eyes, and I used shade 3, which is the darkest of the highlighting matte shades, and I used this all over the eye. This shade isn't too light, so it works well as a neutral base on my skin tone. However, depending on your skin tone, you may opt to go a little bit lighter or a little bit darker, but I wanted something that really matched with my skin tone. The next shade I used was shade 6, and this is a sheer, lightly shimmery satin shade, and I applied this to the crease just to create a little bit of depth. I wanted it to look like a natural depth. I wanted it to pretty much match with my natural skin tone as well, but also create just a little bit of light reflection, hence the shimmer. Now I also applied shade 8, which is a pretty dark shade, but I applied it very lightly into the outer V, and I very lightly kind of blended it into the crease, but I really used a light hand with this shade. Next, I applied mascara. I didn't apply any false lashes. I went for the Benefit They're Real mascara, which helped to just make my lashes look a little bit darker, a little bit longer, but still very natural. Then I chose to do my brows, and I used the Perfect Fill Brow Powder. This is a powder that you shake up, and then when you apply it with your little applicator, it just fills in your brow, any sparse areas, with a little bit of powder. From then on, I decided to do my face, and I used the Banana shade from the Strobing and Shading Highlight and Contour Palette. This is a matte yellow base shade that created a great base. My face looked like I'm always in the right light, but not too illuminated, not glowing. Next I applied the shade Belize, which is the first contour shade, and I applied that just to underneath the apples of my cheeks and a little bit to the side of my nose to do a little bit of shading and sculpting, very natural shading and sculpting, not over the top. Then I applied the matte stick lip shade in Nude Pink. I used my finger because this shade is way light on my skin tone, and I wanted something a little bit natural, so I put this on with my finger, sheared it out a little bit, and had a very soft, pinky look to my lips, but still very natural and everyday. As for my second look, I went right over the makeup I already applied, so if you're doing this, do everything the same except for add these steps in. So I applied shade 9. I applied this to the crease and to the outer V to create more depth and deepen the eye look. This is definitely a deeper eye shade, and you can definitely go heavy with this or you can go light with it, but I decided to go a little bit in the middle with it, so that it just created a little bit more depth rather than adding too much product onto my eye, and then I blended it out. The last shade, which is the darkest shade, I applied in angled strokes to really define my outer V, and I also applied it to the lower lash line to create just a little bit more of a smoky eye look. Now I also used shade 4 with a damp brush to brighten my eye. Shade 4 is a bit of a shimmery satin kind of shadow, so I wanted just my eye look to contrast. I wanted the inner corner to contrast with the smoky outer corner, so I applied that with my moist brush, which is really going to help amp up the shadow just a little bit and also make it last a little bit longer. All these shades can be used wet or dry, so if you're using them dry, you're going to get a sheer wash. If you're using them wet, you can use them as liner. You can use them to just get more intensity, more opaque. Next up, I used a super slim brow pencil to really define my eye, give the end of my brows just that sharp point, and also really define my arches. From then on, I applied some liner to my eyes, a little bit of black liner because I skipped that in the first look, and I topped off my mascara a little bit more. Now as for my face, I added Toffee, which was the center contour shade, to deepen my contour and sculpting, to really add that sculpting in, make it a lot more noticeable. And then I also added Iced, which is the first shade in the strobing section of the palette, to really illuminate, give that metallic look, that really bright look to my face that is just, which is not really natural at all, but it definitely brightens the face up. And as for the lips, I went a little bit darker. I did remove the lipstick, so I didn't keep everything on. I did remove the previous lipstick, and I put on the shade Sangria, which is a deepened brownish red shade. So overall, I found these products to be very multi-use. You can definitely go very soft, you can go a little bit bright, you can go no makeup look, and you can definitely go very glam going out. So you have a lot of options with these products. They're super affordable. I'm going to be leaving links below with price details and where you can purchase these. They are available online, and I believe some of these products are available in beauty supply shops. That's where I've seen my products. That's where I've seen these products before in my neighborhood. Check these out. Do not pass them up. They are very high quality. I'm loving it. I can get a look that's very similar to high-end brands through these products, so I'm overall very impressed. So guys, if you like these, check these out. check the info section below. And by the way, the brushes that I used were Royal and Langnickel, and I do have a promo code for you guys if you'd like to pick them up. I used a few different sets, but I'll leave a link below for that as well. And if you use my promo code Recycled Stardust, you'll save 10% on any of the brushes that I used here today. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review and tutorial. And if you liked this video, please be sure to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified. Hit the button that looks like a bell right next to subscribe to be notified when I post new videos. This way you never miss any of my content. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and please be sure to follow me on Instagram. I'm Recycled Stardust.